Nope.
It's 4:30. We're gonna call the streets and sanitation to order, please. And Frank is gonna discuss, which one of these you're gonna discuss first, Frank?
We'll do the parking lot.
The parking lot. Okay. I'll turn it over to you.
Y'all have a mouth of it.
I don't.
It's on the.
Tablets.
Oh,
It's more or less just kind of making the parking lot a one way. And a lot of people use it as a cut through. And this would eliminate that, should, and just more or less move the access to it up a little bit to line up more with the lanes of traffic. Probably will create a little bit more parking spaces.
thank you.
And one other issue is the magnolia trees, the seed pods. I think we've had some insurance claims, people tripping.
We have. Yes, we have.
So I would like to take the magnolia trees out and put lighting in there and smaller trees and that are more, I guess, usable friendly, that don't have the pods and the big leaf.
So messy. I have a question.
Yeah.
So is this entrance off of Spring Street gonna, hamper or be hampered by that part of the parking lot that's closed off? You know,
No, I don't think it will.
Okay.
We've been getting some complaints on having to come down Spring Street and make a hard right to get into the parking lot and go back up, and this here will make it a little easier, I think. And it'll give us some more parking spaces in that parking lot.
If you, I've got it up here on the big screen now, if you need to look at there.
We are fixing to, along East Cobble Street, the planter. We are fixing in a couple weeks, redo that. Kind of make it look a lot better.
that big tree they're gonna go.
Yes, I think it is. The only ones that are really saving is the dogwoods. They're safe, keeping them. But we're trying to get rid of all the bigger trees because power lines are straight up above them.
Do you know how long these trees have like been planted in that area? I mean,
No, I don't.
20 years, 10 years? No
I'd
idea.
say 20, 25, probably more.
It's just the way with shrubs and stuff. Tree looks good when you plant it. It's just the right size.
Yeah.
And guess what?
Yeah. Well, whatever trees we do plant will be more
Yeah.
bushier and not growing as tall. But we're gonna put some lighting in there because that up against the buildings there, it is dark in that area.
So is that the magnolias are in between the two lines that say one way? Is that where the magnolias are?
Yeah.
How many of those are those?
They are probably.
I mean, all of them magnolias, or is there
Yeah.
other stuff in there?
They're all magnolias. And behind Park Theater too, there's an island there of magnolias. We'll
Yeah.
replace them.
So this shows the two sections. The last being the park theater. This is the park theater here. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Another map.
You know, there's a safety issue. Right down that corner, you know, that drain
Yeah,
that takes the surface water. There's a gap that big. You know, a kid could wash, it needs one of those grates.
Yeah, we need to look at that. I think that may have been done by T-Dot when they did the project, but
We could put bars, like, make a grate for it,
It's really
yeah.
big. And if Neil Schultz, City Springs becomes as user friendly as he's working on it being, there may be a lot of crosswalk traffic there from the parking area to the City Springs monument.
yeah.
What kind of tree is down there on the East Cobble? The one,
I think it's been taken out.
oh, okay,
This one,
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's been taken out. I think it was Bradford.
Mm.
Yeah,
Worst tree in the world.
yeah. I'm not for sure, but I'm almost positive it's been taken out. They are some down there now that. But we're gonna probably replace them.
That were, I may be the only one who's been around long enough to remember this, but originally. This, where you're talking about the magnolias, were all Bradford pears, and Bradford pears in this planted bed.
Yeah.
Between the parking lot and the highway.
Yeah,
Of course, you know, they did what Bradford pears do, you know, they break out and become unsightly, and so they all came out, and that's when the mags were put in.
Anybody have any other questions?
so what's the? There's the problem with the one way and people going the wrong way. I'm sure you've already said that, but I was,
yeah, we're just trying to make it a one-way. Because all the parking places are angled that way. The only two-way would be right behind the Hoover and Son
Right.
Insurance.
so that's, you're just gonna do that. That hasn't, it's not like that already. I
No,
mean,
yeah, the one-way is there. I mean, it's pretty well there. Because all the parking places or spots are angled that way.
so we're really not changing anything there.
No.
the only thing really changing is this entrance here moved from here over to here, and then we're
Yeah.
closing that off. And adding these, so just the yellow.
And what's the reason for closing it off?
Just a line, people were coming in down Spring Street. And it was hard, that's having to make a U to get up into the parking lot to go the one way.
Well,
I can speak to that because
We-
I use it.
So they're
We've had-
going,
So
We've
when
had-
you come in from Spring Street, it's a hard right turn. And most people won't make it, and if you're in a big truck, you can't. So they go the wrong way. The other issue is when you leave in the afternoon, there's a big white truck that parks where that red vehicle is facing Spring Street. You cannot see if anything is coming down Spring Street because of the way you pull out in the way it's cornered with the road. So it's a blind spot.
you can't pull in from Spring Street and go down where it says one way along Colville. And park unless you pull in and back up into the parking spot. And for people backing out of the parking spots, oftentimes you're not looking the other way because you assume that the cars are only going the one way, that the arrows are painted on the blacktop. So this would stop the cut through traffic, creating that danger, and would also remove this quick right turn that's required here, and this blind turn onto Spring here, moves it all up here.
And some of them are taking it and going past First National Bank, trying to turn on the Main Street too, going that way.
It would eliminate that snarl getting in and out of the farmer's market too, because there's So
Oh, yeah, it is a mess right there.
Saturdays are
Yes.
sort of
Yeah,
coming from
exactly
all
right.
directions.
there should be a four-way stop or something crazy there, but the way traffic kind of, everybody's going at one time.
Was that the same magnolias that we were gonna cut some, not several years ago, and there was a big outcry?
Yes.
Thought so.
Ms. Mukherjee.
Yeah.
I think I don't know, what we're proposing is not to just cut the trees down and move on. We're proposing to remove the magnolias and put something back that's
Yeah.
less of a hazard. Maybe even more beautiful. Some bushes, some trees, anyone can pick them out, we'll plant them. So we're just trying to remove the safety concerns that we have there.
Will still be an outcry. You know it.
But I just wanted that to be clear that
Right.
we want trees there, just not those.
Not those
Yeah.
trees, yes, I understand that. Is this gonna create anything different for those few cars, parking spots that go into First National? They'll
No.
still be able to get into there. I just see how your arrow is drawn. It just means that that's how they're gonna be coming out of that parking lot.
Yeah, this is, I was just drawing this to show that this is new parking spots.
Yes.
This doesn't indicate anything really.
Okay,
So yeah, nothing will change over on this side.
okay. Any other questions?
How much it gonna cost?
Couple thousand at the very most. The concrete would be, I'm thinking we're getting the trees donated
The lighting,
and, the concrete. Would be less than 1,000.
We do have some lighting already that we.
Well, the lighting more or less will be MES, we'll put it up. And it'll
Okay.
just be the, extra monthly bill, just what we pay for street lights.
okay,
Cause that's more or less all it'll be.
So we feel like 2,000.
Yeah, at the very most.
hey, Nate, I made a motion.
Don't move. Make a motion to proceed with them.
It's a committee decision, I guess, isn't it?
No.
No. So we're recommending this to the full board, what you're. All right, I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
The next thing is, a bill, I had a dump truck that was in Chattanooga getting coal mix, it tore up. And instead of getting it hauled back here for the garage to fix and getting it taken back to Chattanooga to get it, the programming on it redone with the new parts. I just made the call to send it to Worldwide Equipment in Chattanooga. And they kind of felt more wrong with it than I expected. I didn't expect the bill to be this much. But it is for $10,729.05. And I just come to y'all to get permission to pay it.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, all in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Streets and sanitation will stand adjourned. There's no other questions.
So
Rachel's not here.
Carrie or Sally will need
Yeah, is
to
it time?
share this. No,
Okay. Then we'll call the building and ground. And then we can.
Okay.
Turn it over to Sean.
uh, So we've identified about 6 different properties.
I guess
That,
turn it over to Nolan.
that's fine. 6 different properties that we would like to declare surplus.
Okay, can I stop and ask a question about surplus?
Absolutely.
What happens when we say they're surplus? Where does it go from there?
Yeah,
From there,
sell it competitively. It's subject to competitive bidding.
Okay, do we put it online and they bid for it? Do you have an auction they bid for? How does that work?
We also have.
there are some different ways we can go about transferring ownership of these properties. We could donate them, we could auction, we could seek to sell them at the ICSC convention, which markets to retailers. Nationwide retailers.
Okay,
So-
and who decides how we do that? Once they're once they're decided, does the board decide how they're sold after we decide if we're selling them? In a separate, whatever, maybe. it's-
Correct. They have to be declared surplus
Okay,
before selling can be considered.
okay,
And then we have to go by there are different ways with different rules that Nolan's making reference to. But
okay,
essentially, they're subject to a competitive bidding process,
okay,
however they're supposed to.
okay.
Yeah, and this is simply, do you want to consider transferring ownership to someone else? Yes or no? And then from there, we'll talk about the details in
Okay,
a separate meeting.
okay,
So,
okay.
all right, the first one is empty parcel, vacant, no buildings or anything on Durham Street. You've got the property map there. It's close to Smooth Rapids. And I do believe that there is a water and sewer line that runs through the property. But other than that, we don't have any need for the property. So
Is it the blue track?
that, yes, it's the highlighted.
Do you know when the city acquired it and why they acquired it?
I do not.
It wasn't a particularly desirable piece of property for a long time.
Well, this is, you can't tell by this shot, but it's, if you see, it's. Like
Steep
straight
as a
up that
cow.
way. It's on the opposite side of the river, right?
That's right.
And it's not a. Oh, what really you could do with it,
Is it on the same side as Smith Rapids?
no.
Opposite side. Yeah.
And do we do a motion on each one of these separately?
I would.
Okay.
Because I think they're very different. Some you may
Yes. Okay,
be like, yes, that's no problem, but some others, there may be some more debate. So,
And essentially, the question to the committee is whether there's any foreseeable value to the city for whatever use the property might be put. We abandoned about 5 or 6, a couple of years ago.
yeah, yeah.
Is this close to those condos?
It is next door. Mhm.
Would it be of any value to him?
The second one, if you're ready to move on, is,
Are
Are we gonna vote
are
on
we
this
gonna
one?
vote? Are we gonna make a
Oh,
motion to do that
yeah,
on each one?
sorry,
though?
go ahead.
I mean, I'll make a motion that we turn the Durham Street one over to surplus.
Yeah, second.
Who's ringleading this one? Mayor, you. All in
I
favor?
really don't care.
Aye. All right, that one passes.
Okay. South Riverside Drive is the next one, and it is similar area. However, to get to it, you would need to go out in the county down Riverside Drive. It's across the river from Smooth Rapids. Again, we're not sure why we have it, how we got it. We've discussed it a few different times and we don't have any need for it. I believe there's a significant elevation difference between the river and getting to this property.
So these lots that are like above it there, are those, are there homes on those lots?
Yes,
Okay,
Well, the orange lines are private owned, right?
that's right.
I mean, those are the property lines of privately owned property.
okay.
I thought we determined that this one might be landlocked, which makes it even less usable.
But this is,
Is that an easy, what about that?
this looks like a
little strip?
public right of way here.
I searched that. It's not a record as a public right of way, but it's been on the tax maps long enough to assert a prescriptive easement across it.
So if somebody wanted to purchase that and do something with it, they could access it off of that street.
Probably. But understand when the city sells property, surplus property, we make no representations, warranties, express or implied. It's basically like a tax sale. You get whatever there is,
Okay.
and we're not making any guarantees. You wonder how that ever came to be. That lot ever came to be shaped and located the way it is, but the ribbon might explain it. Anyone knew that ancient history. It doesn't necessarily appear in the record books.
It might land there.
He's right there.
That's not the one that's.
Mike Lane, you are our resident historian. Do you have any idea how this property off of South Riverside Drive, which is roughly across from Smooth Rapids, how it got here? Or there's this, it looks like there used to be something there.
And that's the junction of Rocket Park, and right across
Yeah, that's
the river from it.
I have no knowledge of that line across the river, it's out in the county.
yeah.
That's in the county. Oh, maybe we could trade the county, that property for the property everybody in admin building.
If it's county property, that would be cleared surplus.
That's in the county.
It's outside city.
It's not owned by the county, it's owned by us.
Probably it's on the city
That's right.
tax sale or. It doesn't matter.
You know,
First for those.
you know.
Okay.
As long as we don't.
What's the address?
And the tax definition is the way I'm. However,
Okay, I just wanted to keep these.
it is too steep. for it to happen in this month.
Okay, so this is what we're talking about. I'm just making sure you have it in line.
Right. That's. Project line,
You think?
round, you know,
Not
It
just
take-
really
put it in,
having
take
it
out
just
canoes.
to be able- You can-
Yeah, y'all gotta vote on
Is that
South
it?
Riverside.
Yeah,
All right. Well, then I make a motion to recommend to the board that we place this surplus material plan.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Number 3 is 524 West Sparta Street, which is currently the rescue squad. And located right here. And we still carry the insurance on the building. And we would prefer to no longer own this property and relieve ourselves of the insurance, the overhead, the liability of ownership, and maybe this would be a donation to them in lieu of the annual contribution or the project that we've discussed recently. But I just don't understand why we still own it, or if there's any benefit to us owning it. I'm not aware of it.
Let me get this right. You wanna donate it in lieu of the 50,000?
I'm just,
I mean, that's an example.
I'm not making that motion or anything,
Okay.
but yes,
It's just some ideas that could happen
Yeah,
with it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it would make sense to donate it to them, in my mind.
I mean, they're using it anyway.
Well,
Carrying the
this is really a single issue at this juncture, and that is whether to declare it surplus.
Yeah.
Not
That all
what
was
do you
later.
do with it after you
Okay,
declare it
all
surplus,
right.
but do you declare it surplus?
Okay,
Yes. This will
So-
be number 3.
yeah, so do we have a motion to,
I'll make a motion to turn the Sparta Street address 524 over to surplus.
and I second that motion, all in favor,
Aye.
motion carried.
okay, we have a similar situation at Bernard School. 216 Beersheba Highway. Currently owned by the city, rented to Young Men United for $1 per year, I think.
yeah.
Into perpetuity, though.
I would propose that we declare this surplus property as well, but not before subdividing it so we can maintain Ramsey Park. It's all on one parcel. And I will say that at our next board meeting on Tuesday, there will be a presentation for a proposed project through the Black History Museum at this location. So that might kind of key in with their project.
So how do you want us to make this motion?
I would propose to declare the Bernard School property surplus.
Okay, mention Ramsey Park.
It's connected, so we're gonna have to take. it
Yeah,
apart.
so. But you want to go ahead and declare it?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we could declare the whole thing surplus and subdivide it and only.
You can do
So-
anything you want with it as the owner, unless and until you convey it or a portion of it. There is the issue of the lease being into perpetuity that would have to be acknowledged or addressed in the context of any
They
further
already talked
development
about-
division.
Was there a reason that benefited the Young Men United that we didn't donate it to them in the first place?
The roof blew off.
Right.
And because it was a city property, the city insurance PEP covered the replacement of the roof. That's just for instance.
Right.
Also, a second advantage to that property being titled to the city is the governmental immunity that accrues to protect the city against claims. Say if somebody were seriously injured in the gymnasium, during, an organized event, our casualty or third-party insurance coverages cover it because it's a city property.
Which is exactly why I'm proposing that we get rid of it, because we do not need that liability. If we were to donate this to Young Men United or the Black History Museum, we would be removed from any liability going forward.
True.
All right.
Have you discussed this with any of them about donating it to them then?
Not yet. I just wanted to see what the feeling was of the board before I said anything to them.
Well, I wouldn't mind doing that, donating that to them, but I don't want them to think that by any stretch of the imagination that we're trying to sell it out from under them or anything.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I-
yeah. Well, I know, but you see what I'm saying? I feel like we should approach them on something like this first.
Well, the first step would be to declare it surplus property,
I know.
but we don't, even if it's declared surplus, we don't have to do anything with it. So. I would still propose that we declare it surplus, and then after the presentation that they give on Tuesday, I think that will open up further discussion on more projects and how we can be involved with those there.
You're, let me try to make this as plain as I can. You're not committing to do anything with these properties other than remove the legal impediment that might keep them from being sold. You're only declaring them surplus.
Or
So
donated.
you don't have to donate, you don't have to sell, you don't have to do anything with it other than wait for use for it. It's not if this, then that.
So do I hear a motion to declare this surplus?
I'm afraid I don't know enough about this yet to do that.
Oh, we're declaring it surplus. Surplus.
I
to
know.
all the other.
I know, but I'm very concerned about this.
The Young Men United are fully apprised of the legal status of the property,
Mhm.
the mutual undertakings of the property. We've been, 5 years in since that project was initiated and consummated. So they've been operating it and using it as if they owned it, for at least, I think, 5 years or maybe even more. But their board, I met with their board, and their board was fully informed and signed off to the current use of it. But, if you're going to do something different with it,
So they're coming next Tuesday night to do a presentation on what they're gonna be.
Well,
What,
you said the museum.
I think it's through the Black History Museum. They've got a proposal for this whole area, and I think it includes this property. So,
is he involved with?
Does it have
that?
something to do with the ball
Mm-mm.
field?
Wayne's involved.
Bernard School.
Young Men United is like,
Ballfield's Rocket Park across First Street
Oh, okay.
Donald.
and past the sewage treatment
There's two
plant.
different sets.
Bernard School is on the opposite side of the street. It's the big dome roof structure that pretty much stands up above.
I've been in
Most
it.
of us-
I know where it
Okay,
is. Thank
all right.
you.
But there's also a building behind it that has
Yes.
there's been a lot of interest in the Black History Museum being developed in that structure.
I didn't realize that. So I'll make a motion to declare it surplus property. Do I have a second?
And this goes to the full board before anything is done. Is that correct? I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Uh,
Motion passes.
Okay, number 5. 109 Magnus Drive, which is Pace Setters. This is a property that we would like to start marketing to retailers.
I'm gonna donate it.
Not donatable.
Non.
Abandon it.
So that's 2 parcels there, or these separate deals?
This is one,
Only contiguous tract
yeah,
with 2 small out parcels conveyed to the state for the right of way.
I don't know why we don't utilize that building.
We'll have that option.
I think we need to utilize that.
I think we could get a lot of money for it if we market it to national retailers. Which is why I'm proposing this. Of course, if we don't get anything, we can keep it.
But we still need to declare it.
That's right.
So do I hear a motion to do that?
Is there nothing we can do with that building? Still goes before the full board, right? Everything goes before the full board,
Yes.
before anything's done.
Absolutely.
So if we knock around some ideas between now and then, I'm not for selling that building, but.
Yeah.
I think it'd make a great police station. That's my opinion.
I'll make a motion to declare it surplus. Do I have a second?
Okay, I'll second it.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, the last one, number 6, northeast corner of Lion and Spring. This, it's a parking lot. We don't really see it used too often, but I could be wrong. Right here at the corner of Lion and Spring. If we're looking for property to open and develop, this would be one. Open up to development, I should say.
What is that next to?
Used to be the Hales Dry Cleaners.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just a parking lot right now, right?
That's correct.
So why is there a camper parked in that parking lot 24/7? Is somebody living in that camper or why is there a camper there? Does anybody know whose camper?
Anybody living there, we're trying to get a hold of the owner to get it removed.
Really?
Yes.
They just think they can park their camper there?
No, that's why we're trying to get it removed. We're trying to figure out who belongs to, so we can get it.
Well, if nobody claims it, that could be donated. I would take a camper. How about that?
I don't know if we can legally claim it.
I think that's illegal. Nice try though.
I mean,
Best
Let's
pass
dig-
it that.
just.
Declare the trailer that's on our property surplus.
That's it. But, you know, I've had several people ask me about that, that's parked there. They said, why is that camper parked there? I'm like, I don't know. But I've noticed just in coming to a meeting or whatever, I go, "Wow, that camper ain't moved. It's still sitting there." So,
I will make a motion to declare it surplus property. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Favor say aye.
Aye.
Carried.
Okay, I've got one more. This is not surplus, but it's the opposite. Walmart Printing, which is right here. They are selling. And the new owner would like to subdivide this right here and donate this to the city, there would be an easement for access. And I think we may have utilities that run through there, meaning we technically already have access.
Across from First Baptist Church, is that right?
Yeah. I believe
Yeah, that
first.
parking lot of, yeah,
Mhm.
and we could do what with it?
So, not sure.
Does there need to be any stormwater drainage there?
That was my thinking, was it's just more pervious surface for us to have to do something with. I just don't see the downside of taking it, but maybe I'm missing something. I just wanted to bring it to your attention.
We could make a park there.
Maybe,
How much room is there?
not sure, but I can go check it out.
Yes.
Well, we're selling one parking lot and we're putting in another parking lot across the street.
The Keith Roger surveyed it or not surveyed it, but he done some tests there. And he actually said that I think there's a sinkhole back there. So. I mean, it would probably help us to. As far as that, I talked to him today. He actually called me and talked to me about it.
So we could then maintain control over the sinkhole
Yeah.
and make sure that it's clean and accepting water.
Yeah.
So I guess there's the benefit. So,
Yeah. If they
Tim,
want
do you know of any reason why we shouldn't accept the property?
I discussed the fact that G.B. Green was my uncle and his widow, Susie Boyd Green, would be the current owner as far as I know. I'm not aware of any issue with the property. The commercial building, of course, is below. And this property you're talking about is the upper section. It's not appreciably lower than the right of way, is it?
Yes, I think.
I mean, it may take a off in a corner,
Yeah, it kind of goes down.
yeah, but I've never been aware of any particular problem being discussed or
No.
referenced with it. So it would be additional parking as the last track you abandoned, or you, pardon me, you deemed. I don't know any downside to taking it. There's certainly no environmental issue with it because there was never business conducted on that upper part. There's even a retaining wall between the upper part and the lower part, if I'm not mistaken,
The church uses it for a parking lot, right? It would be charging.
whoever wanted to. Yeah, in fact, I know there's a brick retaining wall between the printing company on facing on Donnell and this lot facing the opposite direction on Spring Street.
Certainly.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to accept the property.
I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
all I've got.
Yeah.
There's
Is there
nothing.
any other business? Not, we will stand adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Another committee meeting.
So they've sold it for the, you said something about the new owner.